Yes, I'm sick. I haven't been driving all weekend. I'm going to have to once again deplete my dwindling retirement to be able to survive the next week. I have been doing a lot of typing my chapters into the computer. So something has been getting done. But anyway, chapter 27 is very short. It's only 6 pages. So I thought I would give it a try, trying to read chapter 27, the mini chapter. Might be the shortest chapter in the entire book. So that's what I'm going to put out here is chapter 27. I just wanted to give a heads up for people who have a hard time reading dark stuff. Chapter 28 is probably the darkest chapter in my book. So if you want to skip over any chapters, that might be the one to skip over. So anyway, without further ado, here's chapter 27. Song of Mornius, chapter 27. Cray? Frowning, Pony stared down the darkened tunnel at the little human's hasty retreat. He turned to his friend, to Grevelin's keen concern. The giant shifted from foot to foot as he studied the ice cave's gleaming entrance. Pony could see yearning on his face, how he ached to follow and comfort the boy. "He is frightened," Grevelin moaned between his teeth. "I have frightened a child." Pony gripped the giant's forearm, feeling the powerful muscles trembling. "I will go after him, Grev, and explain who you are, but you, Master Second, must stay right here. I will not have you reliving your memories by going underground." "You wanted us to meet." Grevelin pulled himself free. "If he is important, I should be introduced. Another time." Pony made his voice gentle. In his mind he visualized the giant's heart steadily beating, free of turmoil. "The little one is frightened, as you say." Grevelin kicked at the benighted snow, rubbed his bare palm over the hilt of his sword. "Hurry and go," he said gruffly. "I will wait here." The giant turned on his heel. With his back hunched, he stumbled into the darkness toward the cliff, drawing his sword as he approached a frozen bank of snow. Pony winced as his friend began hacking with his blade. Many times he had seen this, how the present stirred vivid memories in Grevelin, and how those memories triggered violence and fear. With unanswerable rage the giant attacked the ice, flailing slivers through the night like snow. Again and again his blade flashed with silver moonlight, a reflection from the companion above. Slowly he warmed to his weapon. Pony watched as by degrees his scowl faded, and the choppy action of his arm smoothed out. Now he swung for the sheer joy of it, setting aside the slavers with their gracken, or the painful lash of their magic. He was Grevelin the warrior, battling Grevelin the slave. With his weapon he mastered himself. Pony rubbed at his eyes. Again he heard Galen's soft voice echoing through his head, heard the young human's open dismay as he met the giant for the first time. What did those bastards do? "Oh, Grev," Pony whispered. He hurried down the tunnel away from his friend, giving the giant his space. More than anything he yearned to time jump back into Talankai's past, to undo Grevelin's memories and the human wizards who had made them. Gritting his teeth, Pony aimed his body through the slowly descending darkness toward the darker spot in the stone that marked the entrance to his workroom. Stepping into the chamber, Pony nudged magic into a single wick, coaxed fire from the wax of its candle. As the soft light flickered across the room, he leaned his staff against the table, then cast about through the shadows for the boy. "Cray," he called softly. "I'm Pony. I'm back." "I couldn't make light," came a soft, frightened whisper. "Father never showed me how. I was too little." "I know." Pony approached the cot and the small shape huddled in shadow. "But that is not why you're hiding, is it? I saw you run down here. Something has frightened you." Cray flipped back his covers. "There was something big," he whispered. Smiling, Pony moved around the little cot and then sat on his bed beside it. "Was it a bear?" Cray finished softly. "A bear?" Arms draped over his knees, Pony leaned toward the child and grinned. Grevlin would be flattered to hear you, but no, there are no bears that live in the snow, little Cray. The only bears on Talankai hibernate in the winter. You might see them in the spring when the ice starts to thaw, but even then they don't come up here where it never thaws. As Pony brushed hair from the child's forehead, he found himself wondering at the boy's inner heat. Perhaps, he mused silently, this was why humans were so short-lived. They burned themselves out. I brought with me the father of the giant who saved your life, said Pony softly. He is my friend, little Cray. His name is Grevlin Mistivere, and he would very much like to meet you. So I convinced him to come here. One day soon I may need to leave here for several days. Then Grevlin will be who takes care of you. Pony? Cray wriggled closer until their arms touched. Then he looked up, his soft brown eyes luminous behind his hair. Stroking his forehead, Pony smiled. Never in his life had he fathered any children, or had someone like this who depended on him so much. It gave him a strange feeling inside, a feeling he liked. Yes, he asked gently. I want to use magic like you do, the child whispered. I want to build cities and make statues. Maybe I can make one of my father. Can you teach me? Pony's heart sank. He continued to move his hand, to comfort the child, as he flailed about inside for a response that would not hurt. He stared across the little room at the big stone table with its depiction of the night sky. Stacked on it were his books of magic, his assorted tools, vials, and pouches. Magic, potent rocks were piled to one side. His staff of time leaned against the other. There are several kinds of magic, Cray, he said softly. What I use to restore Tirdan is called old magic. It comes from the core of this world, and it binds all life to itself. Try to imagine a ring of people holding hands. Joined together, they form a circle with no end or beginning, but should they separate, the shape is gone. The old magic is like that. It is wholly dependent on its links, its anchors holding it together. Remove one link, and it is gone. That's what I want to learn, Cray said. Pony, will you teach me? Pony grimaced. Only creatures from this world can safely use it. It runs through them. It is a part of them. But you can use it, and you're not from here. With a sigh, Pony sat back. Cray, the Earth's magic was almost non-existent. Only the most sensitive and clever humans could use it or even recognize it. Your people never needed it for survival. They evolved being able to survive without it. Talankai's magic is crucial to this world. Talankai's life cannot exist without it. And yet Sharon's, the magic on my homeworld, is stronger yet. Do you understand me, Cray? You should not compare yourself to me. My flesh is made for wielding strong magic. Yours is not. Old magic warps the minds and eventually the bodies of humans who wield it. Water fire makes humans physically sick. Neither one is safe for someone like you. Pony looked down as Cray touched his right hand, and then with his thumb drew an outline around his fingers. Can't you teach me something? Cray asked softly. You can do it, Pony. I watched you build the city. You can do anything you want. Grinding his teeth, Pony stared at his spell books, piled high among the clutter on the table, the patterns drawn on parchment of the shapes he could weave with power, the precious stones he could command. Like his staff, the books were from his homeworld. He had Sharon's magic. It was in him, through him, memorized in such a way that his heart knew even when his brain did not. Never would he forget all his trials and many failures, the lessons he pounded into himself over and over. I have magic from my homeworld, he admitted slowly, that I never attempt here. I use it as a shield to protect Sephram those times when I wield the old magic, and I use my crystal staff there, because its internal environment is Sharon's and not from here. But the rest... He shook his head. Not once have I needed it. I wield Talankai's magic now, the old magic, which takes less effort, and... He broke off, catching himself. The last thing the boy needed was to hear about Sephram's power. And... Cray prompted. And I need to get Grevelin home, Pony said. By now he must be freezing out there. Cray slumped back in defeat, rolling sideways on his cot into a ball. Standing, Pony pulled the child's blankets over his shoulder, then tucked them around him. I will give it some thought, Pony said gently, but I cannot promise anything. You have given me a challenge to ponder, but one I must ponder by myself. The boy looked up, his eyes glinting reflections of the candle's lonely flame. Smiling, Pony pressed his head gently back onto his pillow. Sleep, little one. Dream well. I will leave the candle burning, and I'll return very soon. Pony glanced at the flickering flame as he straightened. Then he moved toward the table with his staff.